though. When they give away 0.01% of their net worth, it's not philanthropy, it's lipstick. In the 60s paid 40% of their taxes. In the 70s, they paid 60%. Now they pay 21%.
Season 3 of Pivot. It's on.
Pivot is my favorite podcast. Actually, I have to say it's not my favorite podcast totally. My podcast is my favorite podcast. Actually, it's really not either. My favorite podcast is the Beancast, where that's the hot topics of marketing and public relations and advertising. And it's kind of an opinion show, and I love that show because I've been a regular guest on that show for the past 10 years. But I digress. The reason that I open this flash briefing with Scott Galloway, Professor Scott Galloway, is because he is just the best guy in the world to listen to. So if you want to be entertained, if you want to learn at the same time, if you want to learn what's happening in tech and get his take on stock market, get his take on IPOs. I mean, here's the thing. I could care less about any of that stuff because my brain is completely creative. When I have to go to the other side of my brain for things, I really get uncomfortable. I don't like that at all. But listening to Professor Galloway, Scott Galloway, on Pivot, or in his newsletter, or on Twitter, which I don't spend very much time on Twitter, but he posts everywhere. I say if you're going to listen to him and get to know him, I would listen to Pivot. It's a Vox Media podcast. It's with Swisher. She's interesting. She's from the LGBTQ. She's a lesbian, for crying out loud. And that's probably why I love listening to her. Because I love her perspective. I love how upfront she is. I love how authentic she is. And she's very smart. And she's got this energy that is pretty much over the top, and they both talk over each other a lot. So that's the only thing I don't like about Pivot. But other than that, when Scott gets on his roll and he starts talking about Amazon and WeWork and IPOs and the reasons that they're going to succeed, they're not, and he interviews people and he talks about politics, and I have to tell you, he calls himself the gangster, and he is totally the gangster of, I don't know, the gangster of tech? I don't know. What would you call Scott? Visit my website, wendicooper.com. Send me an email, wendy@mac.com, and let me know. Listen to Pivot. Let me know what you think. I wanted to share it with everybody. So all you have to do is go on. I bet you could even ask you-know-who to play it. But if she doesn't, then it's everywhere you get your podcast. So check it out. It's pretty awesome. You're going to learn a lot and you're going to laugh a lot. Until tomorrow, see you then.